It is 2009, November 28th, Thanksgiving Day, 2019. For those of you who know what Thanksgiving is and when we celebrate it. I had a dream. In the dream, it kept on appearing these Polynesians or Melanesians, kind of Australian Aborigines, not exactly Australian Aborigines. They were, what looked like they were Polynesians, but with strong Austronesian characteristics, strong, like Australian Aborigine characteristics. And we had a dog, and the dog ate the corn. The dog ate a ear of corn, and we're giving ears of corn to the Australian Aborigines / the Polynesians. They looked distinctive, different from what we see, as Australian Aborigines or Polynesians. They look a little bit different. They basically look black, but they look more aquiline in their faces. And they said, well, I can't eat the corn. They don't want to eat the corn that the dog ate. And so we'd throw them corn, we'd give them corn, and they would eat the corn. And so it turns out we got some trucks together, or I think a truck together, to bring the Polynesians food. And we didn't know what they were running away from. It turns out they were running away from slavery. We stopped at a place, and like my mother and I and other people, and we found out that we'd taken corn to them, we're taking food to them, and we found out that they were slaves in the dream. And I guess I'll title this Polynesian Slaves, Dream Polynesian Slaves. Or maybe Austronesian slaves. And we went to check out the slavery situation with the Polynesians, Austronesians. I could say Austronesian would be better, but people don't know what that means, I don't think. So maybe I'll say Polynesian. We went to check it out. And we were trying to tell the slave master, the slave trader, not to do this. And he got me working for him because he forced me to. And somebody else came to investigate the Polynesian slavery. And he was almost killed. I mean, they were enslaving us to serve the Polynesian, the slave trade. They put him in his truck. And they put him in a truck, and they started filling in fill on one side. So he'd be trapped and smothered and die. And he escaped out one side of the truck and closed the door after, so it looked like he was smothered in there. And he went away to warn the authorities. To get the authorities involved. He was some trucker or something. And he went to get the authorities involved. Yeah, I just wanted to get out of there. We were trying to save the Polynesians, and then we found out they were slaves, and we found out we had to work for the guy that was enslaving them, or the guy who was trading them. And the guy in the truck barely escaped to warn the authorities. And it looked like we're headed for freedom. But I mean, in reality and truth, just like the slave trade in North America, or the slave trade in South America, or the slave trade along the Indian Ocean, these things happen because people want them to happen. We have slavery because people want it. And we still have slavery, of course. There was supposedly slave footage from Libya. We have bride slavery too. It's because somebody says, well, I've got a lot of money and I'll take your daughter as a bride, but she has to say yes. And then he works for her, works for him, or she works for him and he beats her or whatever. That kind of stuff happens, of course. Even in the United States of America, among people who we would consider Americans, you know. So it was a thrilling dream. I mean, it was thrilling and oppressing, thrilling and oppressive. So that was the end. If anybody has any interpretation for it, anybody knows what it means, please tell me. I think it has something to do with slavery in my own life. And we do have that. I have psychiatric slavery where, you answer our questions and you take our drugs. And if you don't, something bad will happen to you, just like the mafia, really. Just like the mafia.